tuning in. My name is Monica Lopez McGee, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Cities and Community Engagement for the Children in Nature Network. One of my first projects at Children in Nature Network was to craft an environmental focused curriculum. And I just recognized that there's a vast amount of curriculum out in the field: watersheds, trees, water quality, recycling, you name it, it's out there. And so I focused on play and what I was witnessing and experiencing firsthand as a parent. Like many of you might be able to relate, my child was spending way too much time on the screen, more than ideal, and more than I'd probably like to admit. He's an active gamer, though, and I started to take note of his online world: screen names, avatars, portals, collecting resources, building and creating worlds that was captivating his attention and his imagination for hours. And I knew that there was something there. And there was a day we were headed out on a walk, and we could still see the house in sight. We were hoping to go to our local park. And Max turns and says, "Are we done yet? How far are we going? I'm tired." You've maybe heard this before. And my heart just sank. And so, in pure survival mode, with a goal and desire to preserve my walk and a perfect outing, I responded, "We can't turn back yet. We have to walk 2 more blocks where we'll encounter the blackbirds who hold the secret for the gems hidden at the park." Kind of paused, looked at me a little curious, and I thought for sure he's going to turn back home. And instead, he says, "Are the birds friendly? Because I'm thinking we might need some defense." And so we set out to look for items as on our walk that we could use for defense. And the storyline continued to play out for years on end, even to this day. And he's now 12 years old. He was 6 at the time. And so born out of this idea was this new series, Nature Quest. And I didn't do it alone. The activities were honed and reviewed through focus groups with parents, informal and formal educators, and it was piloted with 25 family nature clubs. That's parent leaders who helped us really fine tune it and make it accessible. So what it is, it's an adventure based on dramatic and imaginative play that uses nature as our game board. And research actually suggests that combining multiple types of play can create immense amount of learning. And so this Nature Quest is 10 activities, and it starts, you can follow along on that blue box. It starts with taking inventory of treasures in the world. And then you're invited to select a superpower to help you navigate future quests. To proceed, you have to have fuel, just like we do in life and just like on these online games, survival in nature. And then we have to create a home base, right? We need shelter. And just as you're feeling strong, you encounter nature's brews. So some different scenarios that start to play out. And then congratulations, you've leveled up and you're ready for head-to-head encounters with predators and preys. And we use games like rock, paper, scissors to help navigate the head-to-head encounters. Activities like I Spy to find shelters. And so, but before completing the entire activity series, you have one last big challenge, which is about people power and how we look to ourselves to find a way to give back and be of service. This might sound like a lot, but really each activity is 20 to 30 minutes. And as let's take a closer look at what it entails. You might start thinking, not sure this is for me. Well, there's no prior experience or knowledge required of the outdoors or anywhere, and little preparation. And any supplies that it does require, which are very few, are everyday things that you can find in your home, like a piece of cloth. It can be played most anywhere since, well, nature is everywhere, right? If we really stop to think of it, our parks, our schoolyards, our backyards, any little outdoor space, because we just need something. We want to spend that time outdoors, reap the benefits of the outdoors while using our imaginations to help create and expand what we see. And going to this idea of imagination, you and your family are the leads. You're the players in this game, and you can take it where you want it to go. If you're needing support, each activity is organized with a mission and a quest. The mission is simply sets the stage, gives you a little background, starts to spur that imagination. While the quest is more of an activity that I mentioned, you might use rock, paper, scissors for the head-to-head encounters, or I Spy to spot shelter, or a game of hot and cold to find fuels outdoors. And so these activities kind of help you create some space outside. And then there are activation cards. So these are small cards that help provide clues and prompt you as you go exploring. They're supplemental, they're not necessary, but they definitely help give you some prompts. Throughout the game, you've heard these terms, power and fuel. And so what is it? And so the idea is that you run through these mission and quest, and as you go, you get to build up your chest and your powers. And really, I mean, all of this we often track it as an on your honor system. Sometimes children get really excited though to track what they have. And treasures and special actions can be, treasures can be something as simple as sticks that become wands, and swords, and berries that are conceived as potions. Powers are really mimicking what we see in nature: camouflage, flying, protective shells. I saw so many different powers. My son had accumulated so many I couldn't keep track. Meanwhile, he would maybe temper me to only a few. Fuels are really our natural necessity to stay hydrated and nourished all the time, right? And so this shows up as water sources, big and small. So big like creeks, ponds, but small also like puddles, or maybe plants that store water. And seeking food, that's simply about spotting fruits or nuts on trees and using this as a means to move forward. This is simply a framework for play, a place to prompt your imagination and exploration with children. But as I mentioned, it was developed with educators and parents. And what we discovered, and what the research shows, is this development of use of play includes the physical, social, and emotional benefits that lead to life skills development. And through observation, exploration of the outdoors, there's a discovery and learning around science and the design inherent in nature. And finally, that we're questioning that the activities and the quest prompt you to question and analyze the outdoors, and really help to spend time out there to build our understanding about nature and the outdoors, so that we build our love of the outdoors and our desire to care for it. That's our environmental ethos. All this to say, I know that for myself and my son, we still play in this way. And we do this everywhere we can, from our backyard, hangout time, to our multi-day paddles and backpacking trips that we go on. And I invite you to download the activities. Nature Quest is here to help you as a path for harnessing your child's love of gaming, and to also increase their love of nature. Have fun and let the imagination go.